everyone. Today I'm going to talk about how intellectual property is the need of the hour for any company, and it's not only the company which is will grow in the future; it is the growth of the whole country. So when we talk about the global scenario or the world scenario right now, every company wants to cover a niche, and everybody is intrigued by new technologies, new ideas, and one kind of technology which needs to be addressed is industrial design. Industrial design, the word itself means design of something which has industrial applicability. When we talk about industrial design in context of India, industrial design is type of intellectual property again, and intellectual property, as I discussed, is creation of mind. So the idea of protecting intellectual property is to get protection and then earn from it by licensing it and stopping others from using it. A very good example could be I have this Geo device with me. So even this device itself, it talks about the abstract feel of the device. So this device per se can be protected by filing industrial design. And the best part of protecting industrial design is the timeline is fixed in India, which is 9 months from the date of filing. So the ornamental looks, the way it is perceived, can be industrial design. Another very good example is what I'm wearing right now. The print of this dress can be a part of industrial design. There are different classes in India. If we talk about a company which is very very active in protecting its intellectual property rights as far the clothes are concerned, is Biba. So Biba filed a number of applications for protecting their industrial design, and at the same time when you're filing industrial design specific, when you talk about a clothing company or a fashion line company, you're actually creating a portfolio, and whatever is protected is like, it's your intellectual property. Another example would be the watch which I'm wearing. It's a Titan watch. So again, it's a type of industrial design. So you need to understand what kind of intellectual property are you creating from your product. And when we talk about on a global scenario, currently if we pinpoint, China is the second most largest. They protect the intellectual property, the economy is growing, and how they have been able to balance is by introducing patty patents. So they have two type of patent applications. One patent application is for 20 years protection, and the other one is for 10 years. So the examination stage of both the patent application is pretty different, but at the same time, the 10-year tenure is able to, provide the innovators with the advantage of, protecting their creation of mind. And the emphasis should be given when we talk about intellectual property. The emphasis is at the growth of the country. So the global finance sector, it is actually, it goes hand in hand. We generally don't talk about these things when we talk about, in the share market, a share is going up, a share is coming down. It's basically what kind of IP they have, how that intellectual property is being used and perceived by the consumer. See, if a consumer is able to relate to your product or service, then it's but obvious that the IP is going to increase. Say, for example, a brand, Coca-Cola. So the design of the glass, the glass design, if you just imagine it, you can actually, the shape of the Coca-Cola bottle. If you just imagine, it's in the shape of a figure of a lady. So Coke is very very smart in understanding what's the need of the hour and how they can actually create a lasting impact. At the same point of time, we can talk about Starbucks. Starbucks, is the coffee very good in taste? Might be, but at the same time, when we talk about the branding, the word Starbucks, the star word, and star with a buck. So that's how people or the companies brand their brand name. Another very good example could be WhatsApp. In general, when two people are talking in a communication, we generally ask, what's up. So what did they do? They came up with the application, and it was WhatsApp. So it's what's and the application, they take the app part. So that's how you should be intelligent enough to understand why a particular brand name should be given for a product or a service with which your consumers can understand, and in turn it is getting business for you. When it gets business for a business entity, you are creating employment, and when you create employment, obviously it's in a holistic view, the country's economic growth pattern increases. So, is it a sensible move to protect intellectual property? Yes. It is a very, very sensible move even before you launching your market, launching a product or understanding your market. You need to understand what kind of brand are you going to protect. So, coming back to the point of industrial design, we talked about Coke, then we have Thumbs Up, if you talk of the domestic market, and there are many other brand names with which people can relate, and the purchase power is increased. And if you talk about India right now, their chances of, or the growth pattern is like it's the fastest growing country, and the perception is the way things are moving, the way intellectual property is being protected. And the best part of brand is if your documentation is proper, that is, you're filing your affidavits in time, you're filing your power of attorney in time, you can get a trademark within a month. At least the grant part is like, the opposition would be there. I'm not talking about the process, but a trademark in less than 21 days, you're getting your trademarks. So get a proper strategy for your brand in India. And obviously, when everybody wants to earn money, so definitely India is a destination to be. It's a preferred destination for every company. It's a dream country for everyone. Like, say for example, Amazon. Amazon is investing a lot in India. As far in today's newspaper, Amazon talked about doubling down investment plan in the digital payment sector and the Prime membership program, where the price they have reduced it to 4.99. Just imagine the kind of consumers who would be actually taking that Prime membership. Anyhow, the product is coming in one day, but in Prime membership, the guarantee is there. Amazon is filing a lot of patent applications. Amazon is filing a lot of patent application in drone sector, robotics, artificial intelligence. They are already filed, and it's in the grant process. But what about the domestic players in India? We are still at the very subtle stage where we are thinking whether or not to file for a patent application. But let me tell you, in the long run, you will miss the bus. So don't miss the bus. It's better you start protecting your intellectual property in a manner and discuss it with a proper patent attorney or a patent lawyer who's actually working in this domain. And talking about how will IP or intellectual property increase the economic value of a country, it is basically the recapitalization of different sectors. When we talk about different sectors, obviously the banking sector or the fintech sector, which we talk about, is going in different direction altogether right now. And when we talk about other points, and when we talk about fintech, blockchain. So we India is going to come up with something a new kind of a coin, and the laws will come in place. So yes, we are in a state of learning a lot of things. India as a country is growing altogether, and there have been bold reforms in the recent past, and the investors are reinforcing their confidence. Say for example, Hindustan Unilever, it's a pioneer in packaged consumer goods. So Hindustan Unilever has filed a lot of patent applications. A lot of patent applications are being filed not only in India but globally. So you need to understand, do your SWOT analysis and see what is your market and what is the best possible approach to enter those markets. Whether you should have partners in those markets. So, if you're online, you can actually get very good partners. And then the big data. The big data which is being generated is basically being used for the economic data, or you can, in massively you can say it's an economic data. And again, when we talk about recapitalization reforms, so what is the need? We need to boost the investor sentiments in India so that there's more of investment in the startup culture. If you read in the papers, it says nobody's investing in a startup, but I think it's the right time to invest in a startup, because now people or the students or the new generation understand the importance of what the startup is, because in 2007 it was an early mover advantage. But what about proper technologies? We are not talking about any e-com technology. We are talking about proper technologies which is AI based, which is there are technologies I have seen, which is solving very basic problems, and they are sustainable technologies. Another sector which I would like to touch base would be the pharmaceutical sector. There is so much happening in the pharma sector. Healthcare sector is always a boom because we know, health is wealth. We need to protect the health, and we have patent laws in place in India. But what about the biosimilars? What about the new laws, which is the need of the hour, whereby the foreign investor or the foreign company who is doing research and R&D is spending a lot of money on the R&D. What are the clinical trials? And what there has to be a there's a big gap in the pharma sector as far the laws are concerned, because we talk about affordable medicines. That is good. Affordable medicines is a need of the hour. But what about the kind of research the pharmaceutical companies get into to get the results? So we need to plan and raise, more funds, and we need to come up with new laws, which is actually catering both the patent and the biosimilar sector. And I think that is something I think the government is also looking at how to overcome that, because there's a lot of pressure from the U.S. government, that we talk about generic companies, we talk about so much about pharmaceutical sector, and we just use Section 3 of the Patent Act and say, the efficacy is not there. But how to write the efficacy data in the patent application is the need of the hour. You need to understand, how to overcome those objections, how to tell, the evergreening should be stopped. Yes, I understand the evergreening should be stopped, but at the same time, a lot of innovations, A plus B plus C, if it is giving rise to F, why not? So, when we talk about the elements of a patent application, especially in the pharmaceutical sector, we need to see the kind of salts, polymorphs, whatever is being used, how and why it is combined at particular temperature is giving rise to something new. And obviously, there's prior art and other such data which can invalidate a patent. But as far the patent application is concerned, the patent application details or the description part should suffice the purpose, and it should be able to overcome the Section 3 of the Patent Act. That's what I tell all my clients when they come to us and they ask about what about the pharma sector. Yes, you can get a patent in the pharma sector, but the detailed description part should suffice what has been written and what has been claimed in the patent claims. Another very important issue, which I think is mismatch in evaluation. There's a lot of mergers and acquisitions which are taking place. But what kind of valuation parameters should be used where intellectual property is involved? What about the technical know-how? So the technical know-how of the founders is also very important. Technical know-how of the company's whole profile is very important. Who to hire, who not to hire. And if you hire somebody, why did you hire that person at X package? So in evaluation, you need to take those pointers. So evaluation is something which needs to be again, seen, and how to evaluate intellectual property or how to evaluate a patent is the need of the hour. We can't use the formulas which are being used by foreign countries, because India as a country is very different. We are evolving. The Patent Act is evolving. The patent law is evolving. Even the patent claims which are granted in India is very different from a patent claim which is granted in US. So this is one point which needs to be taken care of. Another thing is managing fundraising. If you have your IP, you can actually talk to the VC and you can ask for a better evaluation because you have your data with you. So data is very important. You need to talk on pointers rather than just talking in the air. So you need to protect IP and see it from the perspectives of raising funds. So this is something we at TCIs can assist you with. If you have any queries, we will be happy to assist. We also assist companies to enter India and find the right partner for them. Doing business in India is our goal, and we talk about intellectual property. We talk about how to identify your intellectual property from your existing business. So, any questions? Happy to assist. Happy patenting. Bye bye. Take care.